Welcome, future minors. Thank you for joining us for today's session, Financing Your Education, provided by the Office of Student Financial Aid and the Office of Scholarships. Now that we've gone over how to apply for financial aid, we're going to go over what types of financial aid that are available that you can qualify for based on that application. So we're going to review the grants, the scholarships, federal work study, and student loans. And like I said, these are all types of financial aid that you will be applying for when you complete the FAFSA. Let's begin by discussing grants. Grants is of course free money. It is money that you do not have to pay back. However, there is one condition. In order to be able to keep all of your Pell Grant, you do have to finish your full semester. If you happen to drop, and by what I mean by that is that you completely drop all of your classes for the semester. At that point, the Office of Student Financial Aid will review your account to determine how much of those grants you are eligible to keep and how much of those grants have to be paid back. Okay, so make sure that if you are receiving grants, you are receiving free money, make sure before you drop any of your classes, make sure you talk to the Office of Student Financial Aid to determine how you will be affected to avoid any balance. Now, grants, the type of grants and the amount of grants that you receive depend on financial need. Now, financial need, we will explain that later on in this presentation, but we determine that based on the FAFSA, and we also use the cost of attendance to determine that information. And like I said, we'll go over it later on in the presentation. Now, examples of grants that you may be eligible for are the Federal Pell Grant, which most students already know about. There's also the Texas Grant that is provided by the state of Texas, and also the Pager Promise Grant, which is a grant provided by UTEP. Let's continue discussing free money. So there are scholarships that you can apply for, and scholarships are also considered a type of financial aid. Now, these funds, like I said, they do not have to be repaid, and they are awarded based on merit, possibly financial need, as I mentioned in the previous slide, and there could be other criteria. Now, there's different types of scholarships that are available. For example, for incoming freshmen, there are scholarships available for those students depending on your high school classification, your GPA, and your test scores. And there's also scholarships that are part of your college or academic department. And for those, you can just go to your academic department and ask them if there are any scholarships that you may be eligible for. There's also external scholarships. Now, these scholarships, they're funded by outside companies. They're from different organizations, they have nothing to do with UTEP. There are many different search engines for these external scholarships. There are nationwide scholarships all the time. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be on merit. It doesn't have to be specifically your GPA or your test scores. There could be scholarships even just for that you can apply for because it requires you to have green eyes, for example, or wear glasses or be left-handed. I mean, there's all sorts of scholarships that are available out there. You just have to make sure that you do your research, and so you can find out if you qualify for it, what you do qualify for, what are the deadlines, what are the requirements, all of that information. And if you happen to receive any of these scholarships, make sure that you let UTEP know. You can visit Student Business Services to let them know that you have received the scholarship, and we can apply it directly to your student account. Now, we do have a website for the Office of Scholarships. You can go to utep.edu/scholarships. Now, when you visit this website, on the very first page, it will tell you what types of scholarships that you can review. There's external scholarships, and I'll give you a PDF with 2 months worth of scholarships. And by that, I mean scholarships that will be due in those 2 months. There's also any scholarships that we are promoting. For example, the McDonald's El Paso Scholarship, that's one of them. Anything like that, anything that you want to know about scholarships, it is available on their website. When you're applying for the FAFSA, you're also applying for federal work study. Now, Federal Work Study is a great program if you are eligible for it. It provides you with part-time employment opportunities on and off campus. Now, it is part-time, so you are limited to working 19 hours per week. However, there are many benefits of this program if you qualify for it. For example, if let's say you have a morning class and then you have an afternoon class and you live on the east side and you have this gap in between your classes and you don't know what to do with it, you could apply for work study and you could work during those hours. That way you don't have to not just waste time, or you don't have to go all the way back home. You can be working through those times and earn additional money for your educational expenses. Now, also the benefit is that the departments, wherever you decide to work, you can apply with the Office of Student Financial Aid, or you can apply to work at the rec center, whatever department you decide to work in. We, as the departments, we have to be flexible with your work schedule. Because your education is our priority, we will allow you to have a flexible schedule, as opposed to if you work somewhere off campus. Let's say you go work at a restaurant. Perhaps you may not have that flexibility with you, but if you do work as part of that Federal Work Study program, then the departments will have to be flexible with your schedule. If you do decide to apply for work study, you can apply for UTEP jobs on Goldmine. Lastly, I want to thank you all for joining us today for today's presentation. You can always find us at the Mike Loya Academic Services building in room 204. We are in the corner of Schuster and Hawthorne. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. I have provided you with our websites for the Office of Scholarships and the Office of Student Financial Aid, also our email addresses and our phone number. Thank you all once again for joining us, and we hope to see you soon. Go Miners!